hundreds of miles away, and they was funding us for a time. Everything was good. We come home, everything was good. But when they started taking wages away from us, we're like, hold up, man, where's our money? Egyptians began to put taskmasters over us, bosses. Right? Then they began to do little things to weaken us. Not as much food, not as much grain for our homes, right? Yeah, exactly. Not enough food, not enough grain. We became dependent on them, doing things to the water and all those things, and then making it where we had to make ends meet to survive. So we had no time to think about what the government leaders were planning. It was about what? I have to put food on the table. Have to put food on the table. That's what it was about. Sounds familiar? So if you think we're not in slavery, you got another thing coming. Okay? Sure. Some people think slavery is, woe is me, I gotta pick this cotton today, and nah. It's when you're working, the majority of your day is working under a taskmaster, and you have no time to actually benefit with any level, any good quality of life in which you would leave something, an inheritance to your children. That's slavery. When you're going to sleep to wake up to serve someone else's idea under a boss with no time. Okay? This is how you do it. Trying to put food on the table. You don't have no time to be thinking about what they planning against you in City Hall, City Council, and all those things. Come on.
Verse number 12. But the more they afflicted them, the more they multiplied.
Because
and
you know us. You know our people. You can afflict us all you want. We're going to find some solace in this world. Okay? Even during affliction. We will find some happiness. We'll have our own places we come together. We'll still meet and look, man. What we're doing is, you know, they're going home and tired and having more children. Beautiful nation. Like, listen, my boss gave me this lesson is what? The black Jews were taken away. They took the black Jews away, is our topic. Does this sound familiar? I don't have to say color. And right there, no matter what color you are listening to this, there's only a few people, only one people in the earth, a few people in the earth who are experiencing this. And they must be from one of these 12 sons that went into Egypt, folks. But go on.
Verse 13. And the Egyptians made the children of Israel to serve with rigor. And they made their lives bitter with hard bondage.
With what?
And they made their lives bitter with hard bondage.
Hard bondage, work.
In mortar and in brick, and in all manner of service in the field.
Come on.
All their service wherein they were made, where they made them serve, was with rigor. And the king of Egypt spake to the Hebrew midwives, of which which the name of one was Shiphrah.
Nurses. Now, here you go now. They couldn't do it on a systemic level to make us to tire us out from having children. They tried that way. They tried to oppress us and frustrate us. We only made more children. Then they said, you know what? We must do something through the healthcare system. Who's responsible for midwifing their children? These are nurses. And I don't care what job, folks. I don't care what so-called form of employment that dries up within the Western world society. You'll always see a need for nurses in our society. That's one particular job that there's no dearth at. You notice? You notice, if you're trying to get a long-standing job that you know will be there 10, 20, 30 years later, okay, if you want a secure job with benefits, you get in the healthcare field, you become a nurse. See? The healthcare system. Nurse. And what is the nurse's job? The nurse's job is to administer the population control. Roll up your sleeves. Huh? Sounds familiar? When they took the black Jews away. Listen to this clearly, folks. Come on.
Exodus chapter 1, verse 15. And the king spake to the Hebrew midwives, of the which name of the one was Shiphrah, and the name of the other was Puah. And he said, when you do the office of a midwife to the Hebrew women,
come on,
and see them upon the stools, if it be a son, then ye shall kill him. But if it
be a what?
If it be a son, then ye shall kill him.
If it be a son, kill him. Why? Because the nation comes through the seed, is through the man. This is how you depopulate a race of people. If an Israelite woman sleeps with another race, she's bringing forth the seed of that race. See? Kill the boys. Because the seed of promise will come through them. And guess what? They were absolutely right. Moses came through them, through these women. Now, if Planned Parenthood was set up, whole nother deal. So what we're reading is the prototype, the blueprint for eugenics and Planned Parenthood. So when you see that pyramid on your dollar bill, the New World Order accomplished, you have to think now, who is modern day Pharaoh and who are those that were made to serve with rigor? Who are they conspiring against while we're working our behinds off trying to put food on our tables? Think about it. They could have used any symbolism on earth in the Western world, especially in America, to represent what America is about. And they used what? The Egyptian pyramid. To let us know it's the same system in place against the same people. Now, I just wanted to put that out there so that we can chronologize this. Eventually, the Most High sent a savior by the name of Moses. Now, there's big questions that come out concerning, well, who was Moses? Was he black? Was he white? I'm not just going to stick on the colored thing when it comes to that. Like I said, if you believe that Christ and his disciples look like the Pope, you can do so. Or if you believe that he looked black, you can do so. Follow the information we're dropping today. And it'll all come into total clarity. Okay? Now, we all know the story. Moses eventually raised in the Egyptian house. Now, that tells you something in itself, because he must have been at least the same hue as the Egyptians. But most people would like to stick there and say, well, he was a black man. Okay, and we should more so magnify the politics of Egypt and the religions that were oppressing our people in Egypt than who was black, because before this, all the people in Egypt were black. We were black people living amongst other black people, to show you it's deeper than just race.
Exactly.
So we need to more so look at the politics of Egypt. Okay? if we are to preserve ourselves alive. It's the politics of Egypt that's a threat to us. It doesn't matter what man and what color man is in control of that politics. Right? Now, but just to bring clarity, when Moses is spoken of, and it's in our modern day context, Moses is spoke of as being a white man, and only time black people come in is someone mentions his Ethiopian wife. Mm-hmm. Okay, which is backward in itself. They'll say, yeah, there was black people. Moses married a Cushite. That's the only time they would like to bring, I'm speaking of the others, would like to bring color in relating us to Cushites or Hamites. When really, yeah, the Bible tells us the color of the Shemites. And just to give you that color real quick, right? I'm going to give you an example in Exodus 3, in Exodus, where the Most High reveals himself to Moses. And I'm going to give you an example of Moses' sister who was living in Egypt, Miriam, who the Most High smit with a curse for disobeying or going against Moses in the wilderness. So that we can at least give a correct biblical depiction or description of how the Israelites looked in Egypt, using Moses and his sister Miriam, who were born Egyptian citizens, as the examples. Okay? So let's use Moses first.
Mm-hmm. And also, can I get the Bible dictionary?
Yes.
The water.
And you want to get the ham?
No, sir.
No, yeah. You know what
Yep.
Whenever you're ready, just bring whatever you want, okay?
Yes, sir.
All right.
Exodus chapter 4, verse number 16.
Exodus 4:16.
It says, and he shall be, in fact, let me jump down here.
Yes.
Exodus 4:6. And the Lord said furthermore unto him, put now thine hand into thy bosom.
So Moses feared facing Pharaoh without any certainty that he would live through it. He needed some certainty that him going to Pharaoh to speak to Pharaoh about letting God's people go wouldn't mean a death sentence. He was fearful. He understood the power of Pharaoh. So the Lord says, listen, I'm going to show you I'm with you. It's going to be through divine power I free my people. He says, put your hand into your vesture, Moses. And Moses put his hand into his vesture like this. Right? Read, in his cloak. Read.
And he put his hand into his bosom, and when he took it out, behold, his hand was leprous as snow.
Leprous as snow. So Moses looked at his hand, and the miracle here that we see that wasn't in the Ten Commandments with Charleston Heston is that this man's hand turns white as a miracle shown before the Almighty. Now, obviously, he could not have been a white man. Right? Mm-hmm. If the Most High is showing him his power by turning him a different color. Not just his whole body, just his hand looked leprous, like when a perfect example of leprosy, an example of leprosy in the Bible is when you see a person who grows up, and usually it's through vaccine damage today, where they start off dark or brown skin, then they start getting white spots, and the white begin to spot up through their body till they turn white. Well, that's a form of leprosy according to the Bible. A matter of fact, it goes into that leprosy in the book of Leviticus. Mm-hmm. The Bible tells us about it's a curse. Those spots, I'm just giving you all some detail because a lot of you don't even know that the Most High told us about, that told Moses about, to say, listen, these are the things you need to do to help someone overcome that curse. There's a curse there. Completely white. They're what the Bible, the Old Testament, deems a clean leper. Right? See, they didn't teach us this in the Christian church, but it was in the Bible the whole time, folks. Okay? So, Moses put his hand in his vesture and he looked and it was white. It was white. But then the Most High said, just calm down. Read, lawyer, excuse me.
Verse 7. And he said, put thy hand into thy bosom again.
Put thy hand back into thy bosom, Moses.
And he put his hand into his bosom again. And he plucked it out of his bosom.
Come on.
And behold, it was turned again as his other flesh.
It was turned again as his other flesh. So when you hear people talking about Moses married an Ethiopian woman, understand that's a diversion. To try to give what they would deem the ignorant of our people some level of relevance, saying, well, yeah, the Bible do speak about black people, you Hamites. To make you take pride in being a Hamite. It's a diversion. Let's go to Miriam real quick.
Numbers chapter 12, verse number 5. And the Lord came down in the pillar of the cloud and stood in the door of the tabernacle and called Aaron and Miriam, and they both came forth, and he said, hear now my words. If there be a prophet among you, I the Lord will make myself known unto him in a vision, and I will speak unto him in a dream.
Now this is Moses' sister. They were both born in Egypt. Shemites, living in an Hamitic land. Moses from the seed of Shem. Miriam, his sister, from the seed of Aaron. Both from Aaron, Moses' brother, seed of Shem. These are dark people living in a dark land. Before Moses away from the Egyptians, he slayed an Egyptian doing what? Saving his own brother. He had to flee Egypt for a time. That's when he met the Ethiopian. But he was born in Egypt. So don't come to me with some, oh yeah, you want to be recognized? Oh yeah, there's black people in the Bible. Yeah. When Moses left Egypt and came back 40 years later, out there in the wilderness, he found some black Cushite. That's y'all. Are you kidding me? They think we're dumb, brothers and sisters. Don't fall for it. Miriam, Moses' sister, go.
Verse 7. My servant Moses is not so, who is faithful in all mine house. With him I will speak mouth to mouth, even apparently, and not in dark speeches, and in a similitude of the Lord shall he behold.
Come on.
Wherefore then were ye not afraid to speak against my servant Moses?
He told Miriam, were you not afraid to speak against Moses? Read.
And the anger of the Lord was kindled against them.
Come on.
And he departed. And the cloud departed from off the tabernacle, and behold, Miriam became leprous.
She became leprous.
White as snow.
If Miriam, Moses' sister, became leprous, white as snow, that means a clean leper from head to toe, what color must she have been before that? What color must she have been? If a curse for speaking against Moses, she was turned according to the Bible, and they have this saying read in synagogues. Read.
And the cloud departed from off the tabernacle, and behold, Miriam became leprous, white as snow.
Leprous, white as snow. And I'm glad someone mentioned that, because they put in the comment, well, they said that she was olive green, or he was olive green. You can only teach that to an insulated people who think that there's some other colored people somewhere. Mm-hmm. I've yet to see an olive green person, and I've been into the Greek, I've been in Greece, Greek islands, I've been all over the world, the Middle East, I've been everywhere. And yet have I seen that little green olive Martian they're talking about. Okay. Mm-hmm. it doesn't exist. There's no olive people. And if unless we want to talk about, hey, I just had a Greek salad not too long ago. It had black olives in it. But I'm going to show you that it's deeper than just the color here. Read.
Verse number 11. And Aaron said unto Moses, Alas, my Lord, I beseech thee, lay not the sin upon us, wherein we have done foolishly, and wherein we have sinned.
Now, he said, don't put that curse on me. That's what Aaron said. So Aaron must have been what? A man of color. Right? Now, eventually, Moses, right? Eventually, brothers and sisters, Moses would give the law to these people. He would lead them out of Egypt. Y'all know the story. The parting of the Red Sea and walk over into dry shod. Boom, everything is fine. Even though they're trying to lie and claim there's no historical proof that Israelites ever lived in Egypt, which is a total lie. And you can totally refute that. There's this documentary out there that really put it to rest called The Pattern of Evidence. Y'all need to get that documentary because it lets you know that they're purposely distorting history so that we don't tie two and two together. Okay. Totally the archaeology proves that we were there in Egypt. It's there. But that's a whole nother thing. I'm going to have a get together at our church in which we're going to look at the pattern of evidence and the one they have on the alphabet also. We're going to get together and have that discussion in Philadelphia and talk about how if they have all this history together, how is it with this research they're not putting out? There's no way this guy, and we interviewed him on our radio station. There's no way you can be in Egypt anywhere researching a documentary on the pattern of evidence of Egypt, proving that the Israelites were there, and not know that those people were us. Impossible. I was in Egypt. There's archaeology looking like us all over the place. Everywhere. Even the Egyptians and the Arabs say, you Beni Yukul. Beni Yukul, sons of Jacob. They called us sons of Jacob right out. They found out we was from America, and the Arabs over there were calling us Bani Yukul, sons of Jacob. He said, then they do like this. We brother, Isaac, Ishmael. Right? But I digress. Go on. Let's go straight to Moses now. I said I'm going to chronologize this. They took the black Jews away. The question is, who are these Jews they're talking about? And who are they, according to the Bible? Right? Let's go to Deuteronomy. And Psalms 137, 19 and 20.
Before we read that, I wanted to read one definition from the Zondervan Bible Dictionary.
Okay, great.
Okay? It's the last point on color. It says, ruddy. A word used to refer to a red or fair complexion in contrast to the dark skin of the Hebrews.
In contrast to the dark skin of the Hebrews.
I remember that
and that's the Zondervan Bible Dictionary.
You remember that redneck?
There was a guy that came on that we interviewed who was trying to claim that David was ruddy. And trying to say that means all of the Jews and Israelites must have looked like David. Why do you think it's making a distinction of David being ruddy?
Exactly.
Not because all of Judah was dark. It's because exactly, he was lighter than the normal hue of Judah. He was light skinned. It was right in his face, and the guy on our program, a right-wing white Christian, refused to read the definition. He seen it there, but refused to read it. Because ruddy doesn't mean that all of the Israelites or Jews were white. Ruddy is just a distinction. singling out one who looks different than all the rest of Judah. Right? Come on, let's go.
Deuteronomy chapter 7, verse 6.
So here it is. Moses was given the law. He says, listen, now that your people have left Egypt, I showed us going into Egypt. Now we're leaving Egypt with much substance to do what? To go into the land of Canaan, which would now be called the new land of Israel, a nation in which we serve our God with a different practice or religion, than anyone else on earth. This religion would be distinctly different from what the Egyptians deal with and the other nations deal with. So that thing they putting out there that all religions are really the same and it's just one God at the pinnacle of it all is a bold-faced lie. Because the Israelites have a different religion or way of what you would call a way of life opposed to everyone else. A different way of life. And see, this is what's being kept from our people. We believe that becoming a Muslim, we must follow that way of life, that path to get to God. Or becoming a Christian today, that path is the way to God. Not realizing either of these religions, neither of them were given to us by our God. Not the Christianity we see today. You're going to find out today where that came from. You're going to find out today where that Christian church today come from. Okay? Come on.
Deuteronomy chapter 7, verse 6. For thou art an holy people unto the Lord thy God.
And he says, you are an holy people. You're not like these other, you're not heathen. You just don't do what you want to do. Okay? Do what thou wilt is under Satan's commandments. You can't do what you want and say, well, Jesus, just sprinkle some Jesus blood on it. You cover it through the blood. You're using you're using God's son to cover sin? Are you kidding me? To cover purpose sin? Being unrepentant? Christ didn't come to die and sacrifice himself for someone who looked to sin, murder, and be evil, be perverted on purpose. Willful sin. Christ didn't die for willful sin. A matter of fact, in Hebrews it says, he that sinned willfully, after acknowledging and understanding the knowledge of the truth, there remain no more sacrifices for your sin. He didn't die for you. He died so that you can see the sin in you, repent and change from your evil ways. He didn't die so that you can continue to repeat the wickedness. Right? You are an holy people unto the Lord thy God. Read.
The Lord thy God hath chosen thee to be a special people.
To be a what?
A special people unto himself.
Unto himself. Read.
Above all people that are upon the face face of the earth.
You were supposed to be above all people. Now now it's deeper than saying, well, I'm better. What makes you above all people? Hold that and get Psalms 137, 19 and 20. This is what was supposed to make these people who came out of Egypt above all people.
Psalms 147, verse 19.
Read.
He showeth his word unto Jacob.
He showeth his word unto Jacob. You supposed to exemplify and be an example of God's word. See? He showeth his word, the book, to you, Jacob. Read.
His statutes and his judgments unto Israel.
His statutes and his judgments, the do's and don'ts were given to you, the true judges of the earth. You are supposed to judge righteous judgment. His statutes and his judgments unto Israel, read.
He have not dealt so with any nation.
He never gave any other race of people, Gentile race, his laws, statutes, and commandments. They're not documented anywhere that he's given this to anyone else. Read.
And as for his judgments, they have not known them.
Now, why haven't they known them? The Most High didn't give it to them. See, and this is why the Gentile nations hate the Bible, speak against the Bible. And even in Christendom, after Christianity, or hatred amongst the hierarchy of this earth because God chose us. Right? Now, we're going to go to it real quick. Hold it and get Deuteronomy 10 and 15.
Deuteronomy 10, verse 15.
Come on.
Only the Lord had a delight in thy fathers to love them.
Abraham, Isaac, Jacob.
And he chose their seed after them.
He chose the seed of man through them. And through this seed, a nation would come, a righteous nation, a spiritual nation. But what happened? We begin to disobey. We begin to follow the ways of the Gentiles. Right? Now, mind you, let's go to Deuteronomy 28 and 1 and read all the way to the 15th verse. When Moses gave us the commandments, he says, listen, with the commandments, Israel, comes a great responsibility. If you fall, the whole earth will go into turmoil. There's no guide of righteousness. There will be no example of what's right in the earth, and the whole earth will turn into Sodom and Gomorrah.
Hence the condition today. The bearers of the light are in darkness.
That's why we're suffering so, because we had a high responsibility for the earth. Our responsibility was to check these Gentiles, to make sure they stayed on the path. Now, under obedience, under the power of the throne, we used to check them in the Old Testament. When any time a Gentile nation went off and began to do things to conspire against us, when we was under the Almighty, the Most High would have Levi come out with the Ark of the Covenant to lead us in war, and we would fight and destroy the nations who's coming up against our God without losing one man. Imagine going to war and not one person die. And when we begin to lose people in war, it was only because someone in the camp did some disobedience without the king's knowledge. Imagine that. So guess what? We as a people lost that history. But the other nations remember our wars, their defeats against us, how they were defeated throughout history, and couldn't wait for us to fall. And it wasn't our might that gave us that power to defeat them. It was our God. So the Gentiles said, well, listen, If we ever get our hands on these people, we must keep them separated from that God who empowered them against our forefathers. Set up religions, set up churches, shut up mosques, keep them separated. The minute they begin to find their God, it's over for us. So I'm going to go into the book and start reading. And I need you to follow this, to understand that the Most High didn't give Moses this law in vain. He didn't give Moses the understanding at the Mount of Sinai so that we can come some 1,000 years later and say, well, that was back then, that's done away with. No. It was the fundamental foundation that would lead to a judge who would judge the whole earth in righteousness. He was setting the stage for Christ. Moses was. So speaking to his people, our God left us a voice to follow, which is the word, the Bible. He told Moses, write it down so that the seed, the children of Israel, later on can find a way back to me. Put it in a book. Check this out. Deuteronomy 28:1.
Deuteronomy chapter 28, verse 1. And it shall come to pass, if thou shalt hearken diligently unto the voice of the Lord thy God, to observe to do all his commandments, which I command thee this day, that the Lord thy God will set thee on high above all nations of the earth.
If you do this, Israel, I'll put you above all nations, all races. It doesn't matter what their religions are. They're not going to set up temples so that you can follow their gods. No. You follow them. They don't know me. I didn't give it to them. They'll follow you. They'll learn of me. See? Read.
Verse 2. And all these blessings shall come on thee, and overtake thee, if thou shalt hearken unto the voice of the Lord thy God.
If you listen. Read.
Blessed shalt thou be in the city, and blessed shalt thou be in the field.
Come on.
Blessed shall be the fruit of thy body, and the fruit of thy ground, and the fruit of thy cattle,
Your children.
the increase of thy kind, and the flocks of thy sheep.
That means you'll have land, you have cattle, corn, wine, produce, everything needed. Food.
Sustain.
You're not going to have to work the earth and serve the earth to survive. The earth will serve you. See that?
Just thinking about it.
Yeah?
There's a connection between the Most High power and the throne directly to his people.
Yes.
There's a connection there. And this earth right now wants and needs to sever that connection
Yes.
by any means necessary.
Exactly.
And that's what's
Yeah.
going on. They need to sever that connection because that connection means that Lucifer can't rule this place no more.
Exactly.
That's what it is.
That's deep in itself, Elder Gaja. And on that, this also brings forth the understanding or show forth and magnify the hypocrisy of our modern day system who claim they're trying to do what's right to save the earth. You can't save the earth if you don't first look at the people
That's right.
who is entrusted to save the earth. Who would make sure that you wouldn't spray poisons. Who gonna spray poisons on food to save crops? You think we would come up with some madness like that? Or pesticides? No. All of these creatures are needed in our ecosystem for the earth's survival. The Bible says a fool shall be put over us. There would be no poor people living outside. Even when we used to have grapes and cornfields, we would leave the corners for the poor to eat so that they will always have food.
I tell you what, man, we was talking about that. They still do that right now in some countries in Africa.
They do that in Africa till this day.
They
Exactly.
leave the corners of the field full so the poor can eat.
You wanna see a failed country, and it's deep how they uphold some of these countries as the greatest country that have ever existed. A superpower. You want to know a failed country? A country you can walk within 2 or 3 mile radius and see about 30 or 40 of its citizens laying on the ground with no food to eat. So that's straight hypocrisy claiming, oh, this is a God-fearing country and we're here to save the earth. You cannot save the earth without God's people being saved. Because it wasn't entrusted in you. There's no judgment in you, according to the word. You're selfish. You only think about your house, your car, your family. You don't even think about the whole race as a whole. Because why? It wasn't given to you to understand. So that's straight hypocrisy claiming they want to. But that's a whole nother lesson in it.
The 28th verse, number 6.
Come on.
Blessed shalt thou be when thou comest in, and blessed shalt thou be when thou goest out.
When we're born, a celebration. A blessed celebration when a child is born. And a blessed funeral when the aged carry over or sleep with our fathers. Is it that way, or is it in the reverse right now? Where one of our loved ones died who loved us, who sacrificed for us, and we have to actually go set up a GoFundMe to bury our loved ones when the earth is free and dirt in a shovel is all you need. The earth is abundance. We can drive for miles and acres and there's nothing but dirt, land, green land. Huh? We're dishonored coming in, and we're even more dishonored going out. And here's the most evil thing that happens. The healthcare system hacks us up like a dead pork carcass. Surgery to surgery to surgery, so they can get tens of thousands, if not hundreds of thousands, on our elderly before they die, and then throw them in a hole with no inheritance for their children. If you have money anywhere, they're going to find that money first. And what they'll do is say, well, you got this, that, and the other based on the prescriptions they have given you, and begin to hack your loved one to death and have the elderly go out in pain. And then they'll say, well, by the way, that surgery, that unsuccessful surgery that led to your mother and father's death, that cost us about $80,000. And we're going to raid her pension now, and you get absolutely nothing. As a matter of fact, you owe us $2,000.
It's a true life story. I can tell you, for instance, in my family that went on right now.
Yeah.
Yeah. Taking the house.
Yeah, they'll take your house, your property. Yeah. When you put your family up into these places, the first thing they look at is the insurance and see how much money, how long they're going to keep you alive. And it depends on how much insurance they can get out of you. Or, hey, sometimes you're a person who came in there with a house. Or with this. And the family will think, well, I did right by this person. Eventually, we're going to be able to have the house for keep it in the family. Nah, that board over that old folks' home, guess what? They're looking at that house and assets. Like, listen, about 3 surgeries will get us that house. Okay? There's no honor in how we bury our elderly. Read on.
Deuteronomy chapter 28, verse number 7. The Lord shall cause thine enemies that rise up against thee to be smitten before thy face. They shall come out against thee one way and flee before thee 7 ways. The Lord shall command the blessing upon thee and thy storehouse, and in all thou settest thine hand unto.
A storehouse, folks, is a bank, which means you, as the children of Israel, if you follow me, you'll be over everything. Don't forget, we created the concept of consolidating power by storing grain and storing riches and all that. Joseph taught the Egyptians that. So he says, listen, if you stay under my grace and follow this law, the whole world would have to come to you for everything, like they came into Egypt and had to pay Joseph to sustain. You will be the owners of everything, Israel, if you follow me. Now you see why they peddle disobedience to our people? It's in their favor. To have us out acting like fools and be the example of sin and evil and wickedness. They want that example of us out there. Why? Because they understand what it means. As long as we continue to disobey these laws given to Moses, the Gentiles rule our people by default. Okay? Criminality and creating criminality and nurturing that criminality and paying for that criminality is a business. It's called power. Okay? It's a business for them. Read.
Verse number 9. The Lord shall establish thee an holy people unto himself.
Come on.
As he hath sworn unto thee, if thou shalt keep the commandments of the Lord thy God.
If you keep the commandments. Right? But you know what? We didn't. When you read the 15th verse on down, it goes into the Most High now saying, you know what? For if you disobey, I'm going to scatter you throughout the earth. I'm going to scatter you. Let's get it. 64th verse.
Deuteronomy chapter 28, verse number 64.
Come on.
And the Lord shall scatter thee among all people.
If you disobey my law, Israel, you 12 tribes whom I've saved from the hand of Pharaoh, your children will be scattered throughout the earth. Read.
From the one end of the earth, even unto the other.
Read.
And there thou shalt serve other gods.
And you will serve new gods. Now this, what is it they're saying here? You will be raised under a different religion. Huh? The black Jews, they took the black Jews away. They were scattered. And what happened?
The Lord shall scatter thee among all people from the one end of the earth, even unto the other.
And see, and this is why I don't blame the people who've oppressed us. I don't blame them. It was the hand of the Almighty. These nations aren't that strong to put a people such as who are as great as Israel in perpetual bondage. It must have been a spiritual curse through God. It had to be some level of a spiritual intervention for such a great nation to fall into the hands of the nations, the disobedient. See that? Read.
And the Lord shall scatter thee among all people from the one end of the earth,
from the one end of the earth,
even unto the other.
even unto the other. It was our God that allowed this to happen. For what? For the disobedience against the law given to Moses. Now, so if I'm a Gentile ruler and is benefiting from this people who disobeyed Moses' law, right? I'm benefiting from it. I'm reading the Bible and it says if these people disobey, then their God will put them under me. So if I set up a religion, the first thing I'm going to teach these people are what? That you don't have to follow these laws. A matter of fact, it's sin to follow those laws. It's advantageous for me and my people to teach that the laws are done away with, that they no longer have a significance in the earth anymore. And by default, you learn of my new God, which says, what? Do as thou will, Jacob.
Hey, Elder, listen. Sorry, excuse my voice a bit low.
Go ahead, say something real quick.
Yeah, check it out. Let me
Go ahead.
Let me
Grab
grab
it. Go ahead. Real quick. I'll be right back. Go ahead. Go ahead, God.
Yeah, you know, sorry, let me get in. You know, when one of the first time when I went to Africa and I actually saw the place, how vast it was, I always said that, like, yo, listen, there's no way they could have taken down these people.
Right.
It's impossible. It's divine intervention. You with me? Why? Because the place is so vast. You understand? It's
Right.
impossible for them to take down the people. So when you go back and you start to get the scriptures now, it makes sense. When you go over, let me just jump over real quick here. So what do we have? And get me Leviticus 26, 3 and 4 real quick. Just to bring things into perspective here. Yeah, excuse me, my voice is going, man.
You said Leviticus?
Yeah, Leviticus 26. All right, still dealing with the blessings and the curses, all right? Leviticus 26, and pick up about verses 3, I think, on there.
Leviticus chapter 26, verse 3. If ye walk in my statutes and keep my commandments
So if we walk in the Most High statutes and keep His commandments, go on,
and do them,
and do them, that's doing them, yeah?
then I will give you rain in due season,
Rain in due season.
and the land shall yield her increase.
So this is a promise. The Most High said He's going to give us rain in due season, and the land going to give increase. If we keep His statutes and His commandments. Look around you. Go on, Elder.
And the trees of the field shall yield their fruit.
Go ahead.
And your threshing shall reach unto the vintage, and the vintage shall reach unto the sowing time.
You're gonna have substance. Jump down to verse 6, please.
Verse number 6. And I will give you peace in the land, and ye shall lie down, and none shall make you afraid, and I will rid evil beasts out of the land, neither shall the sword go through your land.
No warfare. Nobody can take you down. That's what I was saying. I was saying you made a point about the having the substance and divine intervention.
Yes.
When I went into Africa the first time, looked at the land, there's no way nobody could have come take these people down. The land too big, it too vast. It had to have been a divine intervention. It had to have been. Just read out that last verse for me, please.
Verse number 6. And I will give you peace in the land, and ye shall lie down, and none shall make you afraid, and I will rid evil beasts out of the land, neither shall the sword go through your land.
Go ahead.
And ye shall chase your enemies, and they shall fall before you by the sword, and 5 of you shall chase 100, and 100 of you shall put 10,000 to flight.
5 of you will chase 100. You ever wonder why police come with backup when they see an Israelite? That's why. They remember that. 5 of us took 100 down.
Yeah. Thank you, Elder Gadget.
And
Go ahead.
just one point off of the last statement you just made. You made a statement that it would be beneficial for the Gentiles to keep us enslaved
Exactly.
because they would benefit.
They would benefit from our disobedience.
Exactly. So here's an example of that the benefits they would receive. Verse number 48. Therefore shalt thou serve thine enemies, which the Lord thy God shall send against thee, and hunger.
And hunger, that means you must, to sustain. You must depend on their system to feed your family.
And in thirst, and in nakedness.
For
And-
clothing and all that. I see our people running around, check out these Nikes. Tommy Hilfiger, yo. I mean, just do what Prince did. Just draw slave on your head. He came to the resolve that, listen, we slaves. What are you talking about? Tommy Hilfiger, that means you went to your race, your nation, for the want of, you went to another nation for the want of all things. Where's your family name on the clothing your children are wearing? And when I say your family name, Israel. But go on.
And in want of all things.
And in want of all things. Anything our people want, we must go to the other nations for. That was a curse that was placed on our people. Right? Now, Elder Lawyer, jumping up in history now. We began to disobey, and eventually, I pointed out a few weeks ago, that the Most High split the tribes. In 2 Kings 17, after the sin of Solomon, 10 tribes came over here to the Americas in different parts of the earth on the outside of the old world and began to live in ghettos in those outside provinces. Judah was left only, with Judah being the head king tribe. And then it's subsequent to that, with them, Benjamin and Levi, the priesthood. Right? Now, when you chronologize this history and go through this history, you'll realize that these people were the children of Israel. And what I want to show you is that the Gentiles would find Israel scattered and began to teach them not to follow God's law. Every place they found us, they would set up institutions to teach us to disobey the laws of Moses. Right? Now check this out. Elder Lawyer.
Yes, sir.
Real quick, get me 2 Kings 17 and 17, because I want to deal with the 10 tribes first. 2 Kings 17 and 17, showing you how these scriptures were fulfilled to the degree in which the Roman Catholic Church and the other Gentiles nations would begin to find us later and convert us into a disobedient religion.
2 Kings chapter 17, verse number 17.
Come on.
And they caused their sons and their daughters. In fact, I'll start up a few verses just to get some understanding
Some
of
context.
the practices we follow.
Come on.
2 Kings 17, verse 13. Yet the Lord testified against Israel and against Judah by all the prophets and by all the seers, saying, Turn ye from your evil ways and keep my commandments.
Turn from your evil ways. So we begin to sin against the God that saved us from the hand of the Egyptians. Read.
Turn ye from your evil ways and keep my commandments and my statutes according to all the law which I commanded your fathers and which I sent to you by my servants the prophets.
Come on.
Notwithstanding, they would not hear, but hardened their necks like to the necks of their fathers.
So we became hard-headed. And now, mind you, in the law, it says you are a clean people. You are not to eat anything unclean. If it wasn't under the laws of sacrifice, when it comes to the animals to be sacrificed in the Old Testament, you are not to consume them. Period. Pork, shrimp, crab, lobster, crustaceans, pigs, swine, rat, possum. That's heathens' food. Right? You are not to celebrate the Babylonian worships of Satan. Semiramis is Easter. Nimrod to Tammuz's birth, the virgin birth child who was born December 25th. The child the anti-God child, Tammuz, Satan's son. You are not to celebrate that. You're serving another God. Read.
Verse number 14. Notwithstanding, they would not hear, but hardened their necks, like to the necks of their fathers that did not believe in the Lord their God.
Someone asked real quick, was Israelites scattered to Russia? Israelites were scattered everywhere. And if you have a little time, stick with us, because we're going to show you some of the diaspora and the effects of the diaspora. So you can make a clear distinction between those who are claiming to be the people today, and you're going to find out that they took the black Jews and where they took the black Jews. Read.
Verse number 15. And they rejected his statutes and his covenant that he made with their fathers, and his testimonies which he testified against them. And they followed vanity and became vain, and went after the heathen that were round about them.
So we begin to follow the religions and the practices and ideology of the Gentile nations. Now, mind you, these are the same people God didn't give his law to. Right? Now, you can just imagine some of the things they were doing. You can just imagine it. A people with no law, that means there's no law concerning how to keep marriage sacred, what marriage is, how to keep a traditional family walking in the light of the Almighty. On and on and on and on, right? Now, Elder Lawyer.
Yes, sir.
Keep on going down. I need you to go down to the 17th on down.
Yes, sir. One more verse 16. It says, and they left all the commandments of the Lord their God.
It says, we left all the commandments of God. Now, mind you, folks, the reprimanding comes in parallel what the Most High gave us and why he punished us. And then we'll show you today. We'll show you Christ's time and all that. And then we'll give you today and say, well, okay, based on what the Lord said and what Christ said and what the disciples was teaching, what the H is this we call religion? What have we been upholding? Let's go.
Verse number 17. And they caused their sons and their daughters to pass through the fire.
Through the fire.
And use divination.
And through the fire is child sacrifice to Moloch. The date I'm giving you here is around 718 BC. 718 BC this went down. So child sacrifice didn't start with Rome. It happened the Gentiles were sacrificing their children. And that's why, brothers and sisters, y'all need to open your minds well beyond thinking that it's some small group called the Illuminati. All the Gentiles are a part of this crap. It's a religious A to Z. Everything will be covered today. So be patient with us. We have to start at the Old Testament. Why? Because we have to show you, we have to go to the beginning to show you what God intended in the beginning. And then we parallel that at the end of all of this with what we have now. We parallel what the Most High gave us and why he punished you today and say, well, okay, based on what the Lord said and what Christ said and what the disciples was teaching, what the H is this we call religion? What have we been upholding? Let's go.
Verse number 17. And they caused their sons.
The date I'm giving you here is around 718 BC. 718 BC this went down. So child sacrifice didn't start with Rome. It happened the Gentiles were sacrificing their children. And that's why, brothers and sisters, y'all need to open your minds well beyond thinking that it's some small group called the Illuminati. All the Gentiles are a part of this crap. It's a religious practice by satanic authoritative governments over the earth. Mm-hmm. It's not just no one group getting together, let's have a party. Mm-hmm. This is speaking of all the governments that are established under Satan. Mm-hmm. Set up to do what? To destroy our people. And if they'll sacrifice their own children, what end do you think they have for us? And ours. Mm-hmm. See?
Yeah, so much things coming over here, man. I don't want. Just come
oh yeah.
You with me? Like,
I know it.
Like check it. Even going back into the Halloween sacrifices that goes on every
Halloween, exactly.
These are ancient religious practices coming down.
Pagan practices, the same thing. This is what we went into captivity for.
Exactly. So if you're in your church right now and your church telling you Happy Halloween, then wait. But isn't this what the God of Israel?
Gotcha. Someone sent me some information where Christian churches were set up and they were having what they call a holy Halloween in the name of Christ.
Oh gosh. What madness.
A holy Halloween.
Hey.
And no. Here's the whole thing, though. They'll look at us as if we're saying something wrong, as if we're trying to, as if we're negative or speaking evil, denouncing these days. Well, listen, I understand these days and these practices led to the suffering of our people. How long will we continue the curse? What do you want to do? You want to give the church to you want to give the curse and leave this evil curse to our children? When does it end? And I'm talking about the Christian churches right now, in particular. When does it end? When do we stand up and say, we denounce all paganism? And it's not for the children. The Bible says, train up the children the way they should go, and when they're of age, they shall not depart from it. I see children right now who've been raised right, who don't miss Christmas. Not even thinking about it, who detest it. So don't try to claim it's for the children. It's not for the children. According to the Bible, it's to Satan. It's child sacrifice. You're lending them over to a spirit. You're opening up a door, a gate. And right now that may seem celebratory and feel good, but guess what? When you open that gate through paganism, any evil demon or spirit can come through one day. So you think it's about Christmas. It's about opening the vortex for a future evil against your family. But go on.
Verse number 17. And they caused their sons and daughters to pass through the fire. And use divination and enchantment. And sold themselves to do evil in the sight of the Lord to provoke him to anger.
And it made God angry. Like, why did I save you from the Egyptians? They were pagans in Egypt. Why did I destroy Pharaoh? Why did I give you a land, Israel? Only to disobey me and follow the same people I destroyed to protect you? Read.
Verse 18. Therefore the Lord was very angry with Israel and removed them out of his sight. There was none left but the tribe of Judah only.
That's Judah, Benjamin, and Levi. The 10 tribes were taken out of the land. And guess what? The Assyrians took them. And it's written of in the Apocrypha. A couple of weeks ago, I went into the history of this in the academy to prove that the Indian tribes on the chart are the lost tribes of Israel. I proved it in the academy. I also proved it on a video that's out there now, the 12 lost tribes found, that you can actually look into. It cannot get disputed. They left the land Negro. They left black. But a curse happened to the 10 tribes. And this is why when you look on our sign that we have sometimes, they don't look exactly Negroid like us. Why? Let's get the chapter and verse first. 2nd Ezra 13 and 39. Read it, Elder Lawyer.
2nd Ezra chapter 13.
Don't forget Maccabees now. Hold that because we're going to hit that.
2nd Ezra chapter 13, verse number 39.
So what happened to the 10 tribes that were taken out of the land according to the Old Testament? 2 Kings 17. Read.
And whereas thou sawest that he gathered another peaceable multitude unto himself,
Another peaceable multitude.
those are the 10 tribes which were carried away prisoners out of the land or out of their own land in the time of Hosea the king, whom Salmanassar, the king of Assyria, led away captive.
So Salmanassar led away captive what?
The 10 tribes.
The 10 tribes that were living in the northern kingdom. Read.
And he carried them over the
And they came into another new world. Read.
Verse 41, but they took this counsel among themselves that they would leave the multitude of the heathen
Come on.
and go into a further country where never mankind dwelt.
Went into a further country where never mankind dwelt. Keep in mind, folks, that before the flood of Noah, the earth was one landmass. After the flood, the earth broke, and the place they would call Atlantis, or the capital of the Nephilim, went further west. And it became what? A hidden land. The Most High moved that wickedness far west. And that's what we call the American.
Laws that they never kept in their own land.
Because disobeying led to expulsion.
Exactly. That's right.
So they said, you know what? We're gonna try to do this right this time. Let's leave and set up the commandments and the laws and statutes over in the new land. You see that? And that's why you can find Hebrew in Ohio, in ancient Phoenician Hebrew too. In Ohio and all that, in different areas till this day. And even in Puerto Rico, they found archaeology of ancient Hebrew tablets. Right? So that they can serve in what? You got it. They can serve in the new land following the law, statutes, and commandments. But guess what? Don't forget, there were temples that were still over here. That's right, pre-flood temples with scribes on the wall, like in Mexico and others. And you had men go in there and begin to read some of the divinations and wickedness that was pre-flood, and they began sacrificing over here in the Americas. And that's when the Most High said, well, okay, I'm going to send a fierce nation against you as quick as the eagle flieth. I'm sending Edom to the new world to chastise these tribes who came over to first serve me, but began to disobey all over again.
Hey, if the people don't believe that, read that book called The American Holocaust.
The American Holocaust. Exactly. Exactly. But originally, they were all black. They were all dark-skinned coming out of these areas. But something happened. Finish reading what you have, Elder Lawyer.
Yes, sir. 43. And they entered into Euphrates by the narrow passages of the river, for the Most High then showed signs for them, and held still the flood till they were passed over. For through that country there was a great way to go, namely of a year and a half.
Go ahead.
And the same region is called Arsareth.
Which means hidden land. Hidden land. Now, hold that and let's go to Hosea 7 and 8. So once the 10 tribes left the area, what would happen? They no longer had the protection of the Almighty. Right? Come on.
Hosea chapter 8. You said verse 7? Or Hosea 8 and 8?
Hosea 7 and 8.
Hosea 7 and 8. Hosea chapter 7, verse number 8. Ephraim, he hath mixed himself among the people.
Now, Ephraim was what? The leader or the king of the northern kingdom of Samaria. After they were taken out of the land, as a curse, as was written, they will be scattered amongst the other nations and begin to serve other gods. Right? And through this, they will get conquered by other races of people and begin to mix, read.
Ephraim, he hath mixed himself among the people.
Speaking of Ephraim over the 10 tribes. They were being raped or intermarried with the races who began to conquer them. Therefore, by the time Judah, Benjamin, and Levi would run into them, they would be of lighter hue. Okay? They would look like some of the nations that have ravished them, according to the curse. See? That's why Judah, Benjamin, and Levi are predominantly the races that the tribes who were predominantly intact during crisis time. This is why the 10 tribes don't look exactly like Judah, Benjamin, and Levi, because we stayed intact. We were there during the Roman Empire, and we eventually ran into Africa. So when we met them over here, by the time we seen them here, they looked like an entirely different race. They looked like Gentiles to us. See? Read.
Ephraim is a cake not turned.
Ephraim is a cake not turned.
Verse 9. Strangers have devoured his
It
strength.
says Ephraim is what?
Ephraim is a cake not turned.
Ephraim is a cake not turned. Black on one side, dark on one side, light on the other. Read.
Strangers have devoured his strength.
Strangers, Gentiles, have devoured his strength,
And he knoweth it not.
and he don't even realize it. They don't even realize that they're the children of Israel, the 10 tribes. But the Most High would one day, what? Awaken Judah to bring them back to the fold. Now, because of time, I'm about to jump into some of this history. That's how they fell. Now you have the 10 tribes scattered without hope, without any hope in the world, believing they're Gentiles. Judah, Benjamin, and Levi is still intact. Eventually, the kingdom or the kingship falls under the Babylonian Empire. And after the Babylonian Syrian Empire, then you would have the Persian Medo Empire. And then you got it. The Greeks and Romans. They took the black Jews away. Let's now focus on the Jews who were left in Judea now. Under the Greeks, there arose one by the name of Antiochus Epiphanes. This is around 164 BC, between the Grecian Empire and the Roman Empire. Here's a bust of an Edomite by the name of Antiochus Epiphanes. Now, the reason we're going into him is because every place the Israelites are conquered, right? The government, what I would call the governmental as well as religious blueprint on how to keep us enslaved, begins with Antiochus. That means if we're conquered, they would use the same rules of Antiochus Epiphanes to keep the children of Israel enslaved. Right? Now, in the book of Maccabees, it breaks down the Gentiles' intent against Judah, Benjamin, and Levi to keep us from ever awakening. Because once we begin to come to the light, we'll begin to awaken our other brothers who were scattered. So they had to put a religious mechanism in place, a tyrannical religious mechanism. Now, my question to you, how many of you can say you agree with what Antiochus Epiphanes set up? And I'm going to go over these through bullet points. Right? Tell me if you agree with this. We're in what? 2nd Maccabees, the 6th chapter. Read.
2nd Maccabees chapter 6, verse 1.
Come on.
Not long after this, the king sent, if you don't mind, can we start in 1st Maccabees 1 and then
Go
jump
ahead.
over?
Come on.
So we're going to start in 1st Maccabees 1 and then jump over to 1st Maccabees 6.
Come on.
1st Maccabees 1, verse 10. And there came out of them a wicked root, Antiochus, surnamed Epiphanes,
It's speaking out of the Greeks.
son of Antiochus, king, who had been an hostage at Rome, and he reigned in the 137th year of the kingdom of the Greeks. Jumping down to verse 41.
Now, of course, we taught this in the academy last week. Who's Edom? Who was in Rome during this time? You got it. Zephos lineage through Esau took the throne of Rome years before the Greeks and Romans came on the scene in power. The Edomites were ruling in Rome years. I'm talking about over 1,000 years before Christ was on the scene. They were already, you got it, in Rome and set up a throne. You can read that in the book of Jasher through Esau's grandson, Zepho. Zepho is written of in Genesis, the 36th chapter. Go on.
Verse 41. Moreover, King Antiochus wrote to his whole kingdom that all should be one people.
So now he wrote a decree to Rome. To Jerusalem, that we should all be one people. No more separating according to what God you worship. You understand? Or what nation you're aligned with. That all people should be one people. Read.
And everyone should leave his laws.
And every race of people, regardless of the traditions of your foreparents, should leave their laws.
So all the heathen agreed according to the commandment of the king.
All the heathens agreed to denounce their own traditions to make a new way of life. All races under one understanding, irregardless of their forefathers' traditions. Let's get back to the Tower of Babel.
Which at this time was called Hellenism.
It's called Hellenism. Exactly. So he set it up where the Gentiles would agree to denounce their traditions and walk in a new world fashion. Sounds familiar? Sounds like the world we're living in today, doesn't it? Come on.
Verse 43. Yea, many also of the Israelites consented to his religion.
So Israelites consented to this religion. So this wasn't just a way of life. Israelites began to consent to this. That we would denounce the laws given to us through Moses. Read.
Now here's the bullet points.
Here's the bullet points. Let's go.
And sacrifice unto idols.
Hold up. Number 1, sacrifice unto idols.
And profane the Sabbath.
Profane the Sabbath. Hold up now. So they agreed to do this. This is a satanic agreement. That will bring all the Gentiles together. Make sure that they sacrifice to idols. The sacrificing to idols are the holy days that are set up under Babylon. Christmas, Easter, Sunday, Lent, all of that is a sacrifice unto idols. And then we must agree all together to profane the Sabbath day of the Lord. When God said, remember the Sabbath? Come on.
For the king had sent letters by messengers unto Jerusalem and the cities of Judah that they should follow the strange laws of the land.
So now they're pressuring our people to follow the strange laws of the land. That means, no, you treat the Sabbath like any other day, profane it. You're going to find this is a time in which the Gentiles began to heavily push Sunday worship, like it was in ancient Babylon. All quiet on Sunday, but profane the Sabbath of the Lord. Come on.
If I can mention, this was forced upon all nations, but it had a specific profound effect on our nation.
Exactly. They all agreed to it. But it had the greatest impact, the greatest negative impact against us. Because we were given the law and we were told, according to the law, to keep the Sabbath. And this also proves, like I think Gaja pulled out before we discussed this earlier, the madness that they're teaching in the Seventh-day Adventists. It proved that that's a total false doctrine, that the so-called Sunday law is the mark of the beast. When the Sunday law was instituted during Antiochus Epiphanes, what are you talking about?
It was illegal. It was illegal to keep the Sabbath.
It was illegal to keep the Sabbath during Antiochus Epiphanes' time. Come on.
45. And forbid burnt offerings and sacrifice and drink offerings in the temple, that they should profane the Sabbaths and festival days.
So also that they should not only just profane the Sabbath, but also that our people should do what?
Profane the Sabbaths and festival days.
No more festival days for the Hebrew Israelites. You ought to follow our pagan days.
So ask yourself a question. Is your church telling you this? That you shouldn't keep the Sabbath?
Exactly.
So what church are you under?
What church are you under that's saying that you could profane the Sabbath and celebrate Christmas and Easter? And totally denounce and disrespect the holy days as written in the same Bible you claim to uphold. Read.
46. And pollute the sanctuary and holy people, set up altars and groves and chapels of idols.
The Catholic Church. When the Catholic Church conquered us, when they conquered, look at what they did to our people in Africa. Set up a church filled with idols. The Palikwa Taino Indians and those that they conquered even over here in the Americas turned the Israelites who were scattered throughout the earth into idolaters. In the name of Christ, in the name of Jesus.
And that's the difference. At this time, we knew what it was.
We knew what it was back then.
Right.
And chose it.
Exactly. So now the dangerous thing is that this same concept is being taught under the guise of Christ. This is what Christ desires.
They're teaching this concept as if Christ commanded it, when really it's a command through what? A Greek tyrant by the name of Antiochus Epiphanes. It had nothing to do with Jesus doing away with the Sabbath. They're really teaching the principles in the Christian church of Antiochus Epiphanes. That wicked root that the Bible speaks of. Come on.
Verse 47, set up altars and groves and chapels of idols, and sacrifice swine's flesh and unclean beasts.
And they sacrifice swine's flesh and unclean beast. So who would teach you it's okay to eat swine and unclean and pray over it and sanctify it? Not Jesus. Antiochus Epiphanes, a pagan demon. Because when it talks about your daily sacrifice being taken away, the sacrifices are the clean meats that were given to the Israelites to eat. And unclean food was forbidden. That's the whole reason to define a meat as unclean. Don't touch it. It's not for the righteous, the chosen. Because if you eat the animals which eats the sicknesses out of the earth, eventually you become sick. Okay? Come on.
Verse 48. That they should also leave their children uncircumcised and make
Hold up. Leave their children uncircumcised. Break the law of Abraham. And have them walk uncircumcised. Read.
and make their souls abominable with all manner of uncleanness and profanation.
Hold up. Make them what?
Make their souls abominable with all manner of uncleanness.
Hold up. So by them doing what? Profaning the Sabbath, keeping them away from the holy days, having them worship the holy days of the Gentiles, sacrifice the idols, eventually it will have an effect on their minds and their soul. They'll become the example of wickedness on the earth, being portrayed in the earth with rotten souls. By doing this, it would have a profound effect on their demeanors. They would be now the example of disobedience in the earth. Go ahead.
Before you read that, I want to finish this out, and you can bring that in.
Okay. Go
Verse
on.
49. This is the purpose of all this. To the end
To the end. Now, here was the Antiochus' purpose.
that they might forget the law
That they might forget God's law
and change all the ordinances.
and change all the ordinances that was given to us through our God. Now, if we fell by disobeying God's law, and they've instituted these tenets in our religion, having us believing the whole time we're serving God, how will we ever get out of this condition under the Gentiles? We believe we're doing right by celebrating Christmas, Easter, we don't know that this is direct defiant of the God who made us. We have no idea. Now they're teaching in Christianity, believe it or not, these tenets that were against our God, that was forced on our people. They're teaching you you're wrong if you seek to follow God's law. That you should want Sunday worship over the Sabbath. You see the trick? You see how they switched out righteousness with unrighteousness and now have our people defending it, upholding it? Why? Because it tells us in Hosea 4:6, my people are destroyed for a lack of knowledge. If you knew what you were doing, you would walk away. You would put it down. Go on, other lawyer.
Yes, sir. A few more verses, and then I'll bring you up. Yep. It says here, verse 50. I'm going to read verses 50 through 51, and I'm going to jump down to verse 61.
Come on.
To the end that they might forget the laws and change all the ordinances, and whosoever would not do according to the commandment of the king.
Now, whoever defied this commandment, this religious order,
He said he should die.
he should die. Eventually kill those who would uphold the righteous laws of God. Now we see why Christ was killed by the Romans, folks. They're lying to you about Christ. Christ didn't do away with the law given to Moses. They killed him because he was a threat to the Gentile statutes and their laws that did what? That would rival God's law. Understand this. This is why they killed Christ. He was a threat to the Roman Empire. Because by the time the Romans came on the scene, this decree was totally instituted in the pagan life of what you would call Europeans or Romans up until this present time. But back then, it was totally instituted by the time the Romans came on the scene. That paganism is normal now. We're not to follow the laws of God. Come on.
Verse 51. In the selfsame manner he wrote his whole kingdom and appointed officers over all the people.
Come on.
Commanding the cities of Judah to sacrifice city by city. So he set up overseers, officers, or ministers to ensure that this went forward. Key verse here says here, verse 61. See if this sounds familiar. It says, or I'll start in verse 60. At which time, according to the commandment, they put to death certain women that had caused their children to be circumcised, and they hanged the infants about their necks.
So they started killing the children and women for enforcing the law given to our people by our God.
But check out the manner
As
of
an
killing.
example.
Check out the manner of
Check
killing.
out the manner of killing.
They hanged them about their necks. Does that sound familiar?
Hanging them about their necks. Same thing they did to us in the New World in America. Same. Now this happened, what we're reading, folks, happened, 100 and some odd years before Christ was born. They were trying to institute the total defiance of God's law as law on the earth. Because this would be what? This would be a constant way in the future of keeping the children of Israel under their power. So this was a religious belief here. They would have to institute this within the religious institutions. And that's why our people have suffered. The more religious we become, the worse off we become. That's why. Because they teach us to break the laws within these religions. Islam as well as Christianity. As well as Eastern religions. I mean, who could convince you, like I said before, to believe any religion that starts with some fat Asian guy on your table? Like what? I don't care how good, how relaxing the music is. I can put on some music and you know, and put on some rain and have some rain play behind it. Let me tell you, folks, anytime you see an idol, you should see a demon. That's a gate, a vortex. Okay? I wanted to put that out there. They began to make the tenets that we see naturally, that we defend naturally in Christianity, a law in which if Israelites didn't follow the heathen ways and denounce the Sabbath, that they should be killed. What's wrong with having a law in which you're civil with everyone else, you're following God's commandments, you're following the Passover, Christ's Passover, in remembrance of him. You're following the Passover also in remembrance of our God saving us out of the land of Egypt. You're not supposed to kill, steal, commit adultery, and do no wickedness. You're supposed to love your neighbor as thyself. What's wrong with a law like that? And why would the church teach that that's done away with? Why would they try to say, well, we keep all the laws except the Sabbath? Why would they state that? We keep the 10 Commandments. They'd be like, no, you're lying. Then, well, except the Sabbath. Why, Pastor? Why all the laws except the Sabbath? Because Antiochus Epiphanes, the Gentiles, told you not to keep it. Or they'll lie. Oh, no, well, I teach, I serve God every day. You are a liar. You're lying to yourself.
So did the Israelites. The Israelites worship God every day.
We worship God every day.
But that didn't, make the Sabbath.
Exactly. They didn't change what the Sabbath is.
Exactly.
This is what I was going to add before, like when you're saying it comes in right with it. Romans 7:14. For we know that the law is spiritual. So check it out. Once we start to break the laws, right, something happens within the spirit. And that's the aim.
Yes.
The aim is to distort the spirit. That's
Yeah,
what it is.
because you have to realize Satan gave Antiochus and the Greeks and Romans the formula. If you want to destroy the soul of an Israelite, these tenets must be in place. Then we can control them through disobedience. We have to make sure that when we set up a religious institution, idols are attached to it. We have to make sure they forget and profane the Sabbath because that connects them with their God. we have to also have them follow our holy days and denounce their holy days, because not just what it'll do on the surface, it's what it'll do to their inward souls. It turns them dark.
Yes.
Because of their disobedience, the residual effects of the disobedience is they will become the children of disobedience on earth. They will no longer value family, children, women. They'll become dishonorable, because why? If you're that way towards your God, what's to stop you from being even more a wreck of disobedience amongst your people? So this was a formula that affects our people a certain type of way. It doesn't affect the Gentiles like that, because they weren't given the law. But it turns our souls dark. It turns us. Because anytime you can make an excuse not to do what God say, what is to stop you from doing anything?
Right.
Like what type of
What restraints do you have now?
the whole thing is when it comes to a relationship and my responsibility to my fellow man.
If I don't regard my God,
If I can just disobey God and break his oath,
who cares?
what type of agreement can I keep with you?
Exactly.
That's what it is.
How can I trust you?
That's the truth. that is what it is. I mean,
Yeah.
And just dropping a little historic tidbit. It was just before Antiochus Epiphanes, under the Ptolemaic dynasty, that they had translated made the Septuagint,
Right.
studying the people,
Right.
saying that, oh well, the Greeks need to know the laws. You know, the Greeks, the Hellenists needed to know the Bible. But they never,
Exactly.
They never cared about that. It was a way to find out how can we get these people going against their God. We need the history.
See, but this is how I deal with these Gentiles now. When they say, well, listen, the law is done away with. My answer to them is, you're not in no position to tell me what our law is. The law wasn't given to you.
So how you know it's done away with?
So who gives you the authority to tell us something that your people had nothing to do with?
Right.
Should I listen to you? According to the history I'm reading, following your religion actually rottens my soul. Okay? Following what you're doing is actually deteriorating me. So I have nothing to, listen, you can say the law's done away with because it wasn't given to you, but it affects our people. Have you seen the ghetto? Do you think these are people you should be telling the law is done away with? You think these are the people you should be telling that to? Okay, so the Bible, it tell you here, now it gives us, it identifies in history, biblical history, this guy exists. The actual, I would call, architect of the doctrine that would keep our people in perpetual servitude under Gentiles. That's the architect right there, Antiochus. We have to make sure we set up sacrifices of idols, make sure these particular people profane the Sabbath, and they must follow our sacrifice holy days to Moloch, opposed to their holy days. And if people decide to come together and not do so, eventually we have to plan on getting rid of them altogether, because once these people begin to follow this, we as a people or rulers have no more power over these people. No servants, no slaves, no kingdom. Okay? So we have to set up temples and tell them the law is done away with. A matter of fact, you must teach them there's someone else so they don't feel obligated to follow the law. Teach them there's someone else. Right? What else you got, Elder Lloyd? Come on.
Yes, sir. 2 Maccabees 6 and
Put
verse
some
1.
water in there for me.
Yes, sir.
Come on. All right.
Got you. Can I have some water too?
Yeah.
The water.
Okay, go on.
2 Maccabees 6:1.
Yes.
Not long after this, the king sent an old man of Athens to compel the Jews to depart from the laws of their fathers.
So they sent a man from Athens to tell the Jews to do what?
To depart from the laws of their fathers.
To depart from the laws of their fathers.
And not to live after the laws of God.
And not to live after the laws of God. And let me put that in there now. Don't follow the law of God. Follow what? Y'all have heard this in the Christian church. You must follow the laws of the land. If that's not putting man over God. How many times we've heard that in the Christian church? And this was before we ever found out that we were Israel. Oh, no, we're not to follow those bad laws of God. We can't follow that. That's the bad stuff. We got to follow the laws of the land. See? Antiochus. Read.
Verse 2. And to pollute also the temple in Jerusalem, and to call it the temple of Jupiter Olympius.
Call it the what?
Call it the temple of Jupiter Olympius.
Let's call it the temple of Jupiter Olympius. Now that's deep in itself, folks. Because when they took down the Jews in 70 AD, the black Jews, and I'm going to read that in a second. You know what the pagans did? You know what the Romans did? They took, check it out, they took the statue of Jupiter, put it into the church, and named it Peter. Right now, the water, brother. Right now in the Vatican, the temple of Satan, that's what it is. There's a statue, no sooner as you go in there, of so-called Peter, when really it came out of the pagan temple. It was Jupiter in the pagan temple. And they could not have placed it there until first destroying the original temple and the people. These are the people who have delivered you your Christianity. Which will lead us to, pass me that book, our lesson this coming Wednesday, our conversation next, our broadcast Wednesday, the collapse of the black church. The Handbook of Denominations in the United States. Information on more than 250 religious bodies. Now, of course, we're not going to go through all 250. We're going to show you why they actually created all these religions, these Christian churches in America. It was aimed towards dividing us the whole time and keeping us away from the laws we fell from. The black church was set up to actually, it was set up to get dismantled. They set it up on purpose that way. And that's why you see the so-called apologetics coming from out of their dark shadows right now to defend. They're letting you know they were the ones the whole time. The black church have done its purpose for them. It's over. It's over. Our people are utterly destitute without any hope. That was the whole point of setting up these wicked tenets I'm reading within our churches. It was to destroy, to have the black churches agree with all the immorality in the earth that would lead to a serious number of people walking away from the Bible and the church altogether. In particular, on its own head. I'm going to be going into that this coming Wednesday. Let's go.
2 Maccabees chapter 6, verse number 2. And to pollute also the temple in Jerusalem, and to call it the temple of Jupiter Olympius.
So their whole plan was to set up Jupiter or Zeus as our God. Jesus, Jesus. That was the plan the whole time. This plan was hatched 150 years before Christ was born, folks. The plan of how Satan would take over the church. Read.
In that in Gerizim of Jupiter, the defender of strangers, as they did desire that dwelt in the place. The coming in of this mischief was sore and grievous to the people. For the temple was filled with riot and reveling by the Gentiles, who dallied with harlots and had to do within the circuit, or had to do with women within the circuit of the holy places. So in other words, they were dealing with prostitution within the Most High's temple.
They began to deal with prostitution within the temple. Sound familiar? Sexual immorality in the church of God was taught to us by the Gentiles.
And besides that, brought in things that were not lawful.
Come on.
The altar also was filled with profane things which the law forbiddeth. Neither was it lawful for a man to keep the Sabbaths, or Sabbath days, or ancient feasts, or to profess himself at all to be a Jew.
Woo! Is this not the plan of the Christian church for our people? They have totally executed this.
And besides that, brought in things that were not lawful.
Come on.
The altar also was filled with profane things which the law forbiddeth. Neither was it lawful for a man to keep the Sabbaths, or Sabbath days, or ancient feasts, or to profess himself at all to be a Jew.
Woo! Is this not the plan of the Christian church for our people? They have totally executed this plan. The Jesuits are behind this conspiracy to make sure the tenets of Antiochus has now become doctrine within the Christian church to keep our people enslaved. Read that again, Elder Lawyer.
2 Maccabees 6 and 6.
2 Maccabees 6 and 6. Read.
Neither was it lawful for a man to keep the Sabbath days.
They made it illegal for our people to keep the Sabbath. You notice there's no problem keeping a Sunday. And that's why, to some degree, even though Kanye West is going through a transition, to some degree they are keeping it going. Why? They're allowing it to happen because he's shining a positive light on Sunday worship. And if they can use any portion of what he's dealing with for their own turn, so be it. So be it. Now, I'll tell you what, and hopefully this don't happen, but if that Sunday service by Kanye is turned into Sabbath service, he'll probably be hanging out with Jimmy Hoffa. Not according to what I'm saying, according to the decree under Antiochus Epiphanes against our people. Okay. When the last time you heard from Kendrick Lamar? It's like he's in witness protection right now. I'm going to tell you, folks.
Neither was it lawful for a man to keep the Sabbath days or ancient feasts, or to profess himself at all to be a Jew.
So it can become, or in which they would demonize you and deem you as some type of terrorist or cult. Huh? Sound familiar? We're giving you history here.
Just something real quick.
Yeah.
Just since this week in Jamaica,
Yeah.
the police raided a Yahweh group. You with me?
Yeah.
And a lot of people within our church are getting phone calls asking if it's us. You understand?
Okay. So Elder God just say a Yahweh group in Jamaica was raided the other day, and brothers and sisters were calling the church asking, was it us?
Yeah, if it's us. So I'm just
Yeah.
going off of the back of what we're reading here now, is that they're coming for us.
Well, you have to realize a lot of these groups the Ben Ami groups and all that.
Yeah.
A lot of these groups were actually Zionist established.
Oh wow, interesting.
Yes, they were Zion. Let me tell you, these are all government planned movements
Interesting.
because they were trying to get in front of it to demonize what they knew what was coming.
Israelite awakening.
Exactly.
That's interesting.
A lot of these guys were actually like Yahweh ben Yahweh and all of those guys. They wanted those guys to operate because they were operating in the spirit of Antichrist. These are the examples they wanted out there. And these guys, even when there was a connection with the gangster disciples, Masons and all that when it comes to these other groups.
That's interesting.
Yeah.
That's interesting.
Yeah, so when it comes to drugs on the street and all these different types of illegal type of things, a lot of these groups were doing all these crazy things. They were considered real cults. And this is the same way they were able to nurture and bring up someone like Jim Jones. They just did that with black groups.
Interesting.
Yeah.
They really do. I'm just going back on the scriptures.
Yeah.
I'm saying that they eventually it's coming back to this.
Exactly.
Yeah, eventually they're gonna try to find a way to engage. Yeah, eventually. Yeah, of course.
Yeah.
Of course. No doubt about it. But the way they do it, they usually send in one of their minions or someone to try to do something, and through that demonize the whole thing politically. It's about demonizing first. Right? And at the end of it, because the guy Byron Ireland eloquently talked about the 4 Ds. But after demonizing, they can no more demonize. They discredit. After they can't discredit you, they discredit, demonize, and the last D is what? Destroy you. Right? But go on.
Reading on, verse 7, it says, "And in the day of the king's birth, every month, they were brought by bitter constraint to eat of those sacrifices."
So they had to eat of the sacrifices. Okay? In honor of the king. Read.
"And when the feast of Bacchus was kept, the Jews were compelled to go in procession to Bacchus carrying ivy."
Now check out the Feast of Bacchus. You would never guess what day was the celebration of Bacchus in the Roman and Greek temples. You would never guess what day that was, brothers and sisters. Sunday. The worship of Bacchus was every Sunday. Hold up. It's against the government's law, the Greeks and Romans' law, for you to keep the Sabbath. But you must pay homage to the Bacchus festivals. Well, I did research on the Bacchus festivals, and they would keep a weekly crying to Tammuz of ancient Babylon every Sunday. To Tammuz. Of women to Bacchus at the Bacchus temples, where the women used to come in early in the morning. No wonder the Christian churches are filled with what? Women. It's the same practice. 150 years before Christ was born, folks. What we're giving you, the doctrine of what we see today as the Christian church. 150 years before Christ was born, they were already doing the same services that we see in Christian churches today. Instituted by the sword under the tyranny of Antiochus Epiphanes. When the Jesuits came on the scene later, they just took this blueprint and made it a religion in modern day, in the Roman Catholic Church, and eventually it would splinter throughout all the harlots that came from the Roman Catholic Church, which we will go into next Wednesday. Come on.
"And in the day of the king's birth, every month, they were brought by bitter constraint to eat of the sacrifices, and when the feast of Bacchus was kept, the Jews were compelled to go in procession to Bacchus carrying ivy."
Carrying ivy, read.
"Moreover, there went out a decree to the neighbor cities of the heathen by suggestion of Ptolemy against the Jews, that they should observe the same fashions and be partakers of their sacrifices.
We are to celebrate the holy days of the Edomites, that we follow what everyone else is following. Go on.
Verse 9, and whoso would not conform themselves to the manner of the Gentiles,
Come on.
should be put to death.
Should be what?
Should be put to death.
Should be put to death. So I thought we had freedom of religion to follow whatever we would like to follow. Isn't that what they're telling us? Huh? What's this thing that we cannot follow, that we cannot denounce Christmas and Easter and Thanksgiving and Halloween and follow the laws of in the Bible? That if you do so, automatically in this world you're demonized as crazy, cultish, right? Automatically they're looking at you as something strange. If you follow the laws, statutes, and commandments automatically looking at you as something strange. If you follow the laws, statutes, and commandments in days that was commanded out of the Bible. If you follow the laws, statutes, and commandments in days that was commanded out of the Bible, automatically looking at you